just put a lot of back and forth, a lot more strain on just what we had going on. Afraid of that. And it did put some strain on our relationship. If you see, and we was about to divorce here and there and breaking up here and there.
Really the issue. The video being posted up on social media is the issue. If someone would have sent her that video privately, she and I would have had one conversation about it, and it would have been over.
Atlanta thought it was just another quiet night, until the internet blew up with a betrayal so wild it felt unreal. A leaked hotel video rocked the Harris family to its core, catching Clifford T.I. Harris in a dimly lit luxury suite with none other than Shekinah Anderson, the same woman the world once knew as Tiny's ride-or-die best friend. This wasn't whispers on the block. This wasn't some shady rumor. This was cold, hard footage, undeniable proof splashed across TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram, spreading like wildfire. Hashtags like #exposed and #justice for Tiny shot to the top overnight, leaving fans in total shock, critics disgusted, and loyal supporters heartbroken beyond words. The video didn't leave a single inch for excuses. Expensive champagne bottles littered the table, the hotel curtains barely drawn, and in the center of it all, T.I. and Shekinah locked in an embrace that shattered every ounce of the image he'd built for decades. Loyalty, family, respect, everything he once preached disappeared in a single night of betrayal. Fans quickly dug up old clips of Tiny speaking about trust and love, stitching them into the video, turning the knife even deeper. What was once just messy gossip became a digital earthquake that destroyed a marriage in real time and turned private heartbreak into global humiliation. But Tiny wasn't about to crumble in silence. Instead of hiding behind vague posts or fake smiles, she stormed into a courtroom with her head held high, pain carved across her face for the world to see. She dropped what's now being called the betrayal lawsuit of the decade, a staggering $50 million suit against both T.I. and Shekinah. The accusations? Emotional abuse, public humiliation, and dragging her name through the mud for the entire world to mock. Reporters nearly fell out of their seats when they heard the number. $50 million was the price Tiny put on a broken home, shattered loyalty, and a life humiliated online. The courtroom instantly turned into the hottest stage in America. Cameras flashed, lawyers fired shots, and then came the ultimate bombshell. An anonymous source slipped in a diary allegedly written by Shekinah herself. Inside were words that cut like a knife. Clifford promised me he'd leave Tiny. He told me we'd rule the industry together. Those chilling lines ripped through the courtroom. Tiny broke down in uncontrollable tears, screaming that they had destroyed her life and stolen her family. That breakdown went viral within minutes. Millions of viewers cried with her as she transformed from just another celebrity wife into the tragic queen of betrayal. A woman the world rallied behind as the symbol of every broken promise and every stolen dream. But I wasn't about to sit back and let the world write his downfall. His legal team clapped back with a shocking twist, claiming the entire video was staged. They argued it was a setup, carefully orchestrated, with Shekinah pulling the strings just to chase clout and cash in on his destruction. Gasps ripped through the courtroom. Suddenly, everyone was asking, was this really betrayal? Or a high-stakes trap designed to take him down? Shekinah didn't hold her tongue either. She shot up from her seat and snapped right back, accusing T.I. of being the true manipulator, of promising her love, a future, and a throne by his side, only to toss her under the bus when the heat turned up. Two women who once stood like sisters now clashed as bitter enemies, locked in a fight not just for truth, but for dignity. Meanwhile, T.I. sat frozen at the eye of the storm, as the internet outside turned into a digital bloodbath. Shekinah's Instagram instantly became a war zone. Comment sections flooded with insults, people calling her a snake, a homewrecker, and a family destroyer. Memes painted her as the villain in a modern tragedy, while Tiny's face was elevated to hero status. Fans plastered her on murals with captions like "Justice for Tiny" and "The Queen deserves better." Timelines overflowed with heartbreak emojis as critics dragged T.I. for burning down his own empire with his bare hands. But the darkest moment of all? Tiny walking out of court holding her daughter's hand. Cameras captured her trembling voice as she broke down, crying, "Look what your father did to us." Look how he destroyed our home. That gut-wrenching clip spread across the globe in seconds, freezing timelines in stunned silence. This wasn't just celebrity gossip anymore. It was a family tragedy unraveling in front of millions. The fallout hit hard. Endorsements collapsed overnight. Concerts were canceled. Protesters gathered outside T.I.'s mansion with signs demanding accountability. Shekinah's reputation went up in flames, while Tiny, though broken, rose as the woman the world wept for. And just when it seemed the drama couldn't get any worse, Tiny's lawyers unleashed the evidence no one saw coming. Hidden audio recordings filled the courtroom, a man sounding exactly like T.I. whispering, "Just keep it quiet, Shekinah. Tiny can never know. If this gets out, everything I built is gone." The room exploded with gasps. Reporters nearly tripped over each other trying to blast the quote online. Tiny buried her face in her hands as the chilling words echoed through the speakers. Hotel receipts soon followed, tying Shekinah's name directly to T.I.'s reservation. Stamped, dated, undeniable. Suddenly, this wasn't just gossip or grainy footage, it was documented betrayal carved in stone. By day 2, the trial had turned into a full-blown theater of pain. Tiny's lawyers rolled out a hard drive stacked with hours of secret recordings. The first clip played, and the entire courtroom froze. The same haunting voice again. "Just keep it quiet, Shekinah. Tiny can never know. If this gets out, everything I built is gone." Gasps tore through the room. Tiny hid her face in agony, and the hashtag storm shifted instantly, painting the betrayal in bold, undeniable truth. Empire shattered, Tiny humiliated, Shekinah exposed. The betrayal wasn't rumor anymore, it was locked in ink, sealed with receipts, and stamped into history forever. Tiny's lawyers laid hotel records across the table like a bomb. Reservations under T.I.'s name, with Shekinah listed as the guest. The jury's faces said it all. This wasn't gossip, this wasn't wild fan talk, this was betrayal carved into paper, undeniable and permanent. Tiny's attorney turned to the jury, voice thundering, "This is not speculation. This is proof that Clifford Harris destroyed his wife's trust, humiliated her, and shattered their family in front of the entire world."
In control. You said that.
Let me ask
You
you
said
somebody who know me for real, right? Who really know me.
Man, I'm gonna tell you what you want to hear.
I think you had. Do you think I'm like from
Hey, what she got?
I think she's heavy. I think she.
The courtroom shook. Tiny, trembling and pale, collapsed into her lawyer's arms while the gallery buzzed in disbelief. The defense scrambled to clean the wreck. T.I.'s lawyers waved their own papers, yelling that the receipts were forged, planted by enemies in the music industry desperate to take him down. Suddenly, conspiracy theories lit up the internet. Was this just betrayal or a bigger plot to bury one of hip-hop's biggest names? Streets argued nonstop. Some called T.I. the victim of a dirty setup, but most declared it the coldest betrayal the culture had ever seen. Then came Shekinah's turn on the stand. Trembling yet defiant, she locked eyes with both T.I. and Tiny before breaking down. "I never wanted to hurt Tiny. She was my sister, but T.I. promised me everything. He said he'd leave her. He said I was the one," her voice cracked. Tears streamed. The courtroom leaned in, hanging on every word, while protesters outside screamed, "Stand with Tiny!" and fans inside hissed, "Liar!" under their breath. Shekinah painted herself as the victim, but sympathy was thin. Tiny's lawyers weren't done. Oh no, they had the smoking gun. Screenshots of private DMs allegedly sent by Shekinah to T.I. Messages sharp enough to rip Tiny's heart in two. "Cliff, I can't wait until she's out of the picture. It's finally gonna be just us." The room exploded. Reporters bolted outside to drop headlines while social media froze, timelines plastered with the screenshots. Suddenly, Shekinah wasn't just the other woman. She was a conspirator, a betrayer plotting against her so-called best friend. Tiny broke down, sobbing as she turned to the judge and cried out, "How much more do I have to see? How much more can a woman take?" That raw breakdown went viral in seconds, branded one of the most heartbreaking celebrity moments ever caught on camera. But the avalanche didn't stop. A hotel employee stepped forward, testifying he personally saw T.I. and Shekinah checking in together, multiple times. His words detonated like dynamite in the courtroom. That's when T.I. snapped. He slammed his fist against the table and shouted, "They're lying! This is all lies! I'm being set up!" The judge slammed the gavel, threatening him with contempt as cameras caught every second of the meltdown. That clip alone hit millions of views overnight, plastered with captions like, "The empire crumbles" and "Caught in the act." Meanwhile, the courthouse outside was chaos. News vans lined the steps, fans screamed from the sidewalks, and the world watched the downfall of a family play out like the biggest stage show hip-hop had ever seen. Helicopters buzzed overhead while influencers live-streamed every twist to millions, dissecting tears, whispers, and courtroom shocks like a reality show on steroids. Protesters packed the streets with signs screaming, "Ban the betrayers!" while giant murals painted Tiny as a queen rising out of ashes. Every flicker of emotion became content, turning a private family collapse into a global circus watched in real time. And then, boom, the financial bombshell dropped. An anonymous source leaked bank records that lit the room on fire. Massive transfers pouring from T.I.'s account straight into Shekinah's hands, tens of thousands at a time, spread over years. The implication was nuclear. This wasn't just an affair. It looked like hush money to keep it buried. Tiny gasped as the numbers flashed across the projector. The jury's jaws dropped, and Shekinah herself crumbled, screaming through tears. "It wasn't about money! I loved him! I thought he loved me back!" Critics online roasted her meltdown as the performance of a lifetime, while fans called it the final nail in her coffin. By this stage, Tiny had become more than just a betrayed wife. She was the symbol of every broken woman who'd ever stood by the wrong man. Pale but unshaken, she stepped out of court and whispered into the cameras, "This isn't just about me. This is about every woman who's ever been lied to, betrayed, and broken. I will fight until the truth is heard." Those words looped on every major network, cementing Tiny as the tragic heroine of the saga. Meanwhile, T.I. sat stone-faced, watching his empire crumble in silence. Endorsements gone, concerts canceled, angry crowds chanting outside his mansion. His name, once linked to respect, now dripped only with betrayal. Shekinah, once hungry for fame, drowned in shame as her Instagram became a battlefield of venom, memes, and endless hate comments. But Tiny, though shattered, stood taller than ever, carried by millions who now crowned her the queen of heartbreak and resilience. What began as one leaked video had spiraled into a war zone of receipts, recordings, betrayals, and tears. The courtroom wasn't just about justice anymore. It had become the most explosive stage in America. By week 3, the trial didn't even feel like law. It felt like a Shakespearean tragedy unraveling live for the world to binge. The silence inside was suffocating as Tiny, with trembling hands, stared at the two people who ripped her world apart. Her husband, Clifford Harris, and her once closest friend, Shekinah. This wasn't rumor, it wasn't speculation. It was betrayal being read aloud word for word through diaries, voicemails, and receipts that painted a picture too sharp to deny. And then came Shekinah's chilling testimony. She took the mic, her voice shaking as she confessed, "Clifford promised me love. He promised me freedom. He told me Tiny was holding him back." The gallery gasped. Tiny collapsed into her lawyer's arms as the world outside stopped scrolling, frozen in silence. This wasn't gossip anymore. This was heartbreak weaponized and broadcast to millions. Social media blew up all over again, flooding timelines with hashtags like #TinyBroken and #ExposedForever, rocketing them straight into the stratosphere. Fans posted reaction videos of themselves sobbing, influencers live-streamed dramatic diary readings, and memes of T.I. spread everywhere with captions like "Empire of Lies" and "Snake of the South." Shekinah's name was dragged through the mud non-stop, called a homewrecker at every turn as old clips resurfaced, painting her as a clout chaser from day one. The internet had chosen its queen, and it wasn't her. Tiny, broken yet undefeated, humiliated yet lifted high, had become the face of every woman betrayed by the man she trusted. But just when the tension couldn't get any hotter, Tiny's lawyers dropped a second bombshell that shattered the defense. A private voicemail leaked, T.I.'s voice low and desperate, whispering to Shekinah, "I can't let Tiny know. If this gets out, it's over for me. But you're the only one who understands me." The entire courtroom froze. Reporters scrambled to blast the audio online, and then Tiny let out a scream so piercing it silenced the whole building. "You ruined my family! You lied to my children!" Her outburst dominated headlines, replayed nonstop on TV and social media, locking this betrayal in as one of the most devastating scandals hip-hop had ever seen. Outside, Atlanta felt like it was on fire. Protesters stormed the streets chanting "Justice for Tiny" and "Cancel T.I. forever," while others mocked Shekinah with cutouts and chants that crowned her the internet's villain of the year. The courthouse steps turned into a media battlefield. Anchors, podcasters, and YouTubers battling for camera time, breaking down every scream, every diary entry, every tear, while helicopters buzzed above and news vans packed the block. Inside, Tiny gave the testimony that broke hearts around the globe. Her voice cracked as she cried, "I gave him my youth, my loyalty, my heart, and he traded it all for lies with my so-called best friend." Her words sliced through the courtroom like knives, leaving the gallery stunned. T.I. tried to defend himself, claiming he was manipulated, lured, and trapped. But the jury's cold stares told the story. Nobody was buying it. Shekinah burst out again, crying, "He loved me. Don't make me the villain when all I did was believe his lies." But to the world, the verdict was clear. She had crossed the ultimate line, betraying her best friend for the man she should have protected her from. And then came the final dagger. Tiny's lawyers unveiled handwritten diary entries dripping with obsession. "Clifford said we'd rule the industry together. Tiny is nothing compared to what we have." The gallery gasped in horror as Tiny collapsed once more, clutching her chest, whispering through her tears, "Why me?" Cameras caught Tiny's gut-wrenching cry, replaying it across the globe until it became burned into history. That single moment pushed the scandal beyond gossip. It became tragedy in its rawest form. By the time the judge adjourned, the damage was permanent. Tiny had to be carried into a black SUV, sobbing uncontrollably, while T.I. shuffled out with his head down, drowned in booze from the angry crowd. Shekinah wasn't spared either. She was swallowed by insults as she pushed through the mob, her once bold personality now drowned in shame. Online, the internet exploded. Millions of views on Tiny's breakdown, reaction videos of fans crying along with her, influencers sharing their own betrayal stories, and endless debates over whether T.I.'s career could ever crawl back from the ashes. The fallout was vicious. Radio stations argued over banning his music. Boycotts trended under hashtag #CancelTI, endorsements evaporated in hours, and entire tours were axed before they even began. The empire he bragged about for decades, crumbling, brick by brick, right in front of millions. Meanwhile, Shekinah's name went toxic, burned into history as pure scandal. Her old reality show clips were resurrected as memes mocking her downfall, while Tiny, though shattered, emerged as the queen of heartbreak. She became the survivor people rooted for, the face of resilience wrapped in pain. But the saddest image of all came from a shaky fan video, Tiny clutching her daughter's hand, whispering through tears, "This is why I fought to protect you. To show you, no woman deserves this." That video went viral instantly, captioned, "A queen, broken but never defeated." It became the symbol of everything this saga had unleashed: betrayal, heartbreak, resilience, and the unbreakable strength of a woman standing tall even as her world burned down around her. And as the dust started to settle, the haunting questions lingered. Will Tiny ever truly heal from wounds this deep? Can T.I. survive the destruction of an empire he spent decades building? Or has his legacy been poisoned beyond repair? And has Shekinah forever sealed her fate as one of the most hated figures in hip-hop history? This wasn't just scandal anymore. This was betrayal played out on the grandest stage possible. A love story shattered and rewritten in front of the entire world. A friendship that once looked unbreakable turned into knives, and children now carry the scars of choices they never asked for. We scroll through scandals like they're just entertainment, but this wasn't entertainment. This was heartbreak in its purest form. A family ripped apart, a courtroom turned into a stage, and millions of us forced to watch as a queen cried out for justice. History won't log this as simple gossip. It will be remembered as the day an empire collapsed in plain sight. So now the real questions sit heavy. Do you stand with Tiny, the woman who gave everything and was left in pieces? Do you think I can ever rebuild even a fraction of what he lost? Or has Shekinah burned every last thread of trust this family had left? I need to know what you think. Drop your thoughts in the comments right now, because this isn't just drama. This is history unfolding in real time, and we're all witnesses. And don't forget, hit that subscribe button, smash the like, share this video with your people, and keep the conversation alive in the comments below. Because trust me, this story isn't finished yet. See you in the next one.